we'll call our meeting of the Board of Public Works and Safety on June 28th, 2021 to order. So the first thing we'll do is have the roll call from our clerk treasurer.
Mayor Amy.
Here.
Karen Grucius. Here. Tom Lewis.
Here.
Thank you. The next thing we have is the approval of the minutes of the June 14th meeting. We'll entertain a motion to accept the minutes as presented.
I'll make a motion to accept the minutes as presented.
Karen makes a motion. Is there a second?
I will second that motion.
Tom seconds. So, any questions, comments? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
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 Unanimous. Thank you. Okay, the next thing we have is our department heads. And the first one we have on tonight's agenda is Miss Stacy Skinner.
I guess I'll come up here real quick. The only thing that I have is for Zach Bain. I had discussed that when he got hired, that he has a lot of knowledge about the system, but with the fiber, it's a learning curve, and he's doing great with it, and want to move him in to the next tier, so it'll take him from installer C to installer B.
And folks, if I was remiss in letting you know, Miss Skinner is the department head of the fiber optic as well as the broadband.
Yeah.
Rural broadband area. So is there any explanations you want to give with that? Just
That basically, that classification is one of three. He is working on getting his CDL. He doesn't have it yet. That'll be the next step. But getting to installer B, he is proficient in troubleshooting, a customer via phone, via, personal at the home, and he can handle all stages of it. So it's just one of those classifications.
When would this be
Good luck.
effective?
If I can make it effective as of yesterday, so it can be on the next pay voucher.
Okay.
what questions do you have for Miss Skinner?
She's lucky to find
I
a
have
not qualified.
And he's a great guy. So very personal with our residents and just doing a fantastic job. We have nothing but praise for Mr. Bain. Hearing no other comments. Is there any other comments, Tom?
No, I have no comment.
Okay, then we'll accept a motion to go forward with promotion of Mr. Bain. Is there?
I'll make a motion to go
I'll make that
forward.
motion.
Okay.
I'll second that motion.
Tom makes a motion and Karen seconds that. Any questions, comments? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
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 Unanimous. Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Skinner.
The only other thing to update everyone on, we're doing good on the residential fiber installs. We've got about 32 of them currently.
Awesome.
But sent out mailers to everyone that's been measured on their drop cables and started to get those phone calls. They were getting those in the mail, so,
Good.
yeah.
So folks, if you want the latest and greatest in fiber optic, contact Ms. Skinner.
Yep, that's it.
Thank you so very much. You do a great job. Thank you. Next we have Miss Jessica Jones.
What I have for you guys today, and Tom, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay. In redoing our employee handbook, one of the changes that was made was to change days to hours. Because we do have some departments that are 8 hours, some departments that are 10 hours. In doing so, we have 4 employees from one department that would be taking a very large cut. And what we're wanting to do to even this out is to do a sellback of sick days. We have 4 employees, 3 of which would be getting 90 hours, and 1 that would be getting paid out 20 hours. And this is a one-time sellback to get everything level with the new employee handbook, and we're asking for your guys' permission to do that sellback for that department for those 4 employees.
I didn't quite understand the 8 to 10 hour difference.
So what happened was, in our old handbook, everybody was allowed to carry a maximum of 45 sick days. And with that, we looked at it, and for our 10-hour people, they were getting 90 hours or 9 days more when you look at it based on hours. than the 8-hour people. And so in order to make it even across the board, we took 45 times 8, and that's 360 hours. And if you do it times 10, that's 450. So we're leveling everybody out to where they max out at 360 hours, whether they're an 8-hour-a-day employee or a 10-hour-a-day employee. And in order to do that for the 4 employees that would be losing hours that they have earned and accumulated, we're paying them out that difference to make it even to where they're maxed out at 360 hours instead of the 450.
Okay, so going forward, all of them will get the same.
Correct.
Everyone's even, that's correct. So this is basically just kind of moving the up so it's all fair. So is there a motion then to go forward and to adjust these to where everybody's on the same playing field?
I'll make a motion.
Karen makes the motions to go ahead and with the 6 sellback days.
Yes.
I will second the motion.
Tom seconds that. Questions, comments, concerns? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
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 Okay, that's unanimous. Thank you very much. The next thing we have is Jim Binkley on a contract. Jim Binkley, folks, is our electrical superintendent for the city of Scottsburg.
Also the guy that's building your flat. To go down the list, which I just handed out, the Starrett Heavy Haul project, which has been ongoing, they are moving loads through town right now. And I've got a copy of, if anybody is interested in seeing the next 3 weeks worth of hauls, that's it right there. We only escort them when their loads get taller, and they've taken a 23-foot load through, and when they shove the communication lines up, they're starting to get closer to our primary wires, which is not good, so we're taking other measures to insulate those wires. We did have an issue where they run loads through at night, and apparently they stretched the cable TV. For some reason, that cable TV was lower than before, and when their trucks come through, they caught that wire. It did not rip it down, but it shook our phases severely. So we've addressed it. They've moved that line back up, but the process of pushing these cable TV and telephone up is we have to keep an eye on what it's doing. Where our wires are set and we're good, they're starting to move them.
What location is this?
Right up front of your old employment.
Is
Right.
it
Yeah, the guys saw the truck come through, saw it hit the wire,
JPEG?
and watched the phases bounce. We were lucky they did not go together. It would have took out multi-couple, would have took out our major industry. Okay, knocked that circuit down.
When did that happen?
One day last week, to
Okay.
be honest with you. I don't know if it's Tuesday or Wednesday, but it was one day last week. I have the Starrett Heavy Haul Make Ready invoice, item number 2 on the list. The council said he wanted a copy of it, and brought him a copy of it. Jan explained to me a little bit about the invoices and what we're doing. The invoices I've always made out, this is made out in respect like what I would have to do when we do storm restoration or FEMA work. It's a very detailed invoice and a lot of explanation in behind it. I gave Leslie a copy like I normally do so that she can go through and make sure my math adds up correctly before we send it out to them. Jan, I brought you a copy. It doesn't have the pretty Scottsburg logo on the top.
Okay, we'll let you slide here.
But you can look through it, and we've never had any problems out with our invoices. These are higher dollar invoices, for lack of a better term, than the standards that go out all the time. So these are kind of scrutinized a good bit better. But I do have that if someone can get that to the council, that he can look it over and get an idea of what these look like when I build them.
The IMPA solar meeting. I had a meeting today with a representative from IMPA that came down and we discussed some items on the solar park, and we went and looked at the line that they're supposed to extend or put together for us to get our exposure from lightning reduced because of our rural lines. February, the mayor and I had a Zoom meeting, and that was on the to-do list. And he asked me today when I was wanting this done. I said, well, we had a meeting in February, and I wanted it done before the spring storm season. So he understood real well that they're behind. And luckily, this spring hasn't been a bad storm season, or probably will remove that circuit. In meeting with him, and I discussed with the mayor the possibility of looking to get a grant for the fiber that the electric's putting into the homes that broadband's using right now to have service to higher internet speeds. That looking at doing demand side management, that was all the rage 20 years ago, to shave off our peak, and that's what cost us the most at the electric department, is our demand peaks. And it's just looking for another tool to be able to keep the residential rates low. It's one of those things that we've got to come up with something to address the way we sell electric right now, how we can save money as a utility and keep from having to raise the rates on the residentials.
Is the new software we're looking at, didn't that address that as well?
Pardon me?
No, I was talking to Leslie.
Address,
Did that not address,
oh, the prepay that we were looking at?
well, not
That's
the
not
prepay.
Demand side management?
Yeah, seems like it had this, there was something,
No, demand side management.
I don't know if that was the term that was used, but
You're probably thinking of the time of use that we
time
discussed.
of use is what
For
we're talking
residential
about.
customers.
Right. So it helps them see that better. It helps them know when they can actually save the most money.
If they go onto a time of use program. Demand side management actually allows the utility or the power provider to back off on the energy that is being consumed. And what it will do is, it's like the group of us all have demand side management. It will cycle through the air conditioning so that Leslie would be down for 10 minutes, then it would just walk around the table 10 minutes at a time. Karen come down, Terry would, then the other one comes up, and that gives the ability to shave off that peak. And you still don't, it's not like getting your electric cut all the way off, but there are a lot of different mechanisms to do this, and I talked with the gentleman that was down today to put me in contact with who would best be able to explore some ideas I've got. And they're going to, he said when he got back, he would put me in contact with those people in contact with me.
Okay, thank you.
Billing software, we backed up on that just a little bit. I have contacted Lawrenceburg, and I talked with Jamie, as I said I would, and she told us some of the issues she had. In discussion that Mayor, I, and Mike had last Friday, that Jamie actually provided us with a couple other entities that we should look at maybe, and I shared that with Leslie. I think Mike shared it with Lauren already, and that we'll take a look at these other entities and see what they have to offer. Because there was some concerns, we liked what we saw, but there was concerns with the operating systems that they're using now, and that concern came from our IT guy. So we're wanting to make sure that we don't, if we're going to take a step ahead, that we leapfrog ahead. We don't just catch up to technology that's starting to already be replaced. So a lot of things we got to consider to build this out.
And I certainly don't feel that's what we're doing. I think we are coming up to the 21st century in this new software. So you're saying you found 2 other software providers that can provide the same thing?
We've got a couple names and we're looking into it.
Okay. Well, I was very impressed with this last company, so just so everybody's up to speed, what we're doing here is we're looking at new software so that Guy, you and I may write a check, but today we have software such that, so if you want to pay your bill online, you can pay it online. If you want to pay with your credit card, you pay it on credit card. You can see a time of use. Just you can say, well, if you take off and went to Ohio and you say, oh my, did I turn that water off? You can see time of use. You can see your electrical use. So I mean, it brings everything up to date. So what else did you have to say about that as well, Leslie?
It checked all the boxes as far as getting prepay and that sort of thing. So as far as end user results, it checked the boxes as far as us providing the customer service.
Right. There's also prepay. So
Yeah.
basically, if you're new to the area and you're renting or something of this nature or whatever, the case may be, if you need a prepay option, then they have the prepay option. So you pay it up front. You're not paying a deposit then. So it will notify you, hey, you're down to $20 worth of electricity and you're going the same rate, and by 2 o'clock after tomorrow, your power will be shut off. That software shuts it off and it can be turned back on just as quick as well.
And that'll be a very good tool to have since we have a large rental population here in town.
Absolutely.
That'll help our customers tremendously. So.
Absolutely. So we're looking at a software that brings us up to this generation being able to use those things. So just so everybody knows. So that's kind of what we're talking about here, just to make everybody familiar. What else do you have?
That's our number one concern, is that the billing office is comfortable with it. Number two is that we accomplish what we're wanting to do with our electrical rates through the software that it will be. And of course, we've got people that's got to manage it. Multicolor project, that was successful to a degree. We had one of our elbow connections that is stuck on the transformer, and we will have to de-energize that. But we set it up to where we can leave it, and we still got rid of their overhead lines so that they can continue their work. And when we schedule an outage time, which whenever they get ready to put this new building up or put power to it, they're going to need to shut that transformer down and make connections. So they're very happy that they're where they're at on that project.
Good deal.
Moving into the electric fiber, the final trunk lines for the north sub got installed today. A couple of 72 lines that we needed to get in. The guys can't say enough good what they're doing. That the biggest problem is our lead time on equipment. The MSTs, or multiple service tab, that's where the electric department ends and Stacy begins. Those came in this week.
Okay.
So that will allow us to continue to build out our fiber. And once we start getting those installed, then that will allow Stacy to do her measuring for the cable she needs to order. But we were happy to see those in, but we did get a bit of bad news. Looking like our fiber hut, or the distribution point that we locate in our substations, it's been pushed back to November.
Hey, bud. Can you explain to the folks there where you're at? Basically, is this on the northern part, what area you're talking about, the northern?
In designing the fiber to the home, I developed 5 distinct regions, and those first region is from north of Highway 56 and east of Highway 31, all the way to the south shores of Lake Iowa. That system is up. We've got it put in place. We've got it, all the MSTs, and we have turned that over to start selling broadband. And Stacy started doing her hookup side, I think March or somewhere in there. But that is going. Anyone living in that area can get this service. Currently, we're offering the service, our top tier service at 500 meg. I've got some discussion with the contract that we need to get in place so that we can move it up to 1 gigabit, which is the top tier in the country. We've made some huge progress in building out one of the best systems there are.
Let me just repeat that for folks at home. So west of 31 and north of 56, those folks are all available now?
South of Lake Iowa.
South of Lake Iowa. So north of 56 up to Lake Iowa, folks.
Correct.
Right. So anything north of Lake Iowa is not quite there yet, but coming soon.
The second region, which we've just got the trunk lines installed, will be an area north of 56, east of Highway 65, and all that area will be, hopefully when we get this fiber up, we'll be ready to go this fall. So we're heavily dependent on the lead times of this equipment because the world is wanting to put fiber in. So we're doing the best we can with what we've got to work with. On the third item, the electrical operations and commercial fiber that the electric department has up, we've done our final allocation and splice design, and the county is buying dark fiber from us to attach to all the, bring all the county entities into one central point. They will buy bandwidth at that central point, and then dark fiber will distribute it for them, which is, it's one of those things we had to get a fiber all to a common point, and it took a little bit of shuffling, a little bit of design work, but I'm there. I've got that done. Mike has a few cross-connect cables inside the node. That's all Mike. He's the one that plugs all that together. I find the fiber to get point A to point B, and we're at that point. So next week or so we'll be converting them over. The last item on my list here is a bandwidth contract with Smithville and Hurricane Electric. Where we're at right now, we're hitting, 1.6 meg on our, 1.6 gig on our bandwidth that we're purchasing right now. And that bandwidth, we cannot turn our system up to 1 gig for our customers until we improve the bandwidth we're purchasing. Otherwise, we'll slow the system down. And Mike has worked for several weeks on getting us, we were told if we could get to Henry Street in Indianapolis, that we could, that's where you can purchase bandwidth at a wholesale rate. And working with Smithville Phone Company, we've established a path up there, which is a protected path. That means that if a cable is severed, that they have an alternate path so that we don't lose connectivity. That is a very, very valuable thing to have in this business. It's built-in redundancy. With that being said, once we at Henry Street in Indianapolis, Hurricane Electric, and don't ask me why they're Hurricane Electric, sell bandwidth, but they are one of the largest providers, not only in the country, but the world. And Mike worked his magic and has got us set up with an excellent purchase. We'll actually be paying less for bandwidth than what we do right now and getting 5 to 6 times more. And the capability to rapidly expand that. And tonight I'm here with a copy of the contracts. I think everyone's seen a copy of them. And I don't know, Mayor, do you know if the council's looked at it yet?
Council's not looked at it yet.
Okay, I would ask for a motion to pass it contingent upon the council's approval of this contract. If the council obviously doesn't approve, then it will go away. But that would be the motion I asked for tonight, that we have a motion contingent upon council's approval that we enter into these contracts. There's, and if I could, real quick, there's an issue of overlap that we need to establish. We have a contract with MetroNet that is coming up due in September, and we need to run this concurrent to make sure everything moves over seamlessly and we don't drop the whole system. So that's the reason I'm here today, to get this established.
Tom, do you understand any of that yet?
Sort of, maybe a little more explanation.
Yeah, basically what he's talking about here is that there is a wholesale entity that is selling basically to a middle person that's selling it to us. But we're having to be able to buy through a tube, as it were, a tunnel, as it were, to get up to Indianapolis and to a data center. And once we're able to tap that data center, then we can buy a wholesale rate that basically 10 times more than what we're paying now. We get a lot more capacity. And as we build out our system, we feel that we are going to need that capacity. So that's what this is for. The contract is just for 1 year on that contract. The recurring is the Smithville, that is a 3-year contract. And so that's what that's about, Tom. So Karen, do you understand that as well?
Yes.
Now, I did notice, Mayor, that the Smithville is made out to Citizens Communication. That's who that contract is.
I represent
signed.
Citizens Communications Department, head of electric, which falls under us. So it's fine either way, yes.
Okay, I just didn't know who pays and who's gonna be signing off on it, because this one does not specifically say Citizens Communication.
Well, right now, Citizens collects all the money off the fiber the electric's put up, so they would be paying for the bandwidth, because essentially Stacy is buying and selling bandwidth, but it goes across our system.
Let me ask you this, Mick, is this with Smithville any more than what you were paying in the past? It's $25.90, the monthly fee.
Any more
Is
than what?
it more than your last contract? And
Oh,
if so, how much more?
I gave you those papers when we went over that contract. Let me see if I got it here.
I didn't see a previous contract. And Tom, when he says council, he's not talking city council, he's talking legal counsel. I've read through this, but I also want legal counsel to see it. And Josh is not here because of his mom. His mom had to be staff flighted to the hospital, so he's out this evening. And has been out for a couple days last week as well.
Okay, this is the paper that I had with the contracts. You did not get a copy of that? Because we went over that.
I have the current contracts. My question is, what was last year, or the last contract? I'm assuming you had a 3-year contract prior to this one. So my question is, did it go up any?
Okay, the contract that we had with Smithville, which would be written into and absolved into the contract you have there, was $1,742 monthly.
So this has gone up considerably. You say 17?
Hold on. The contract that is coming up for 1 gigabit and unprotected from MetroNet is $2,902. So the $2,902 is going away. The $1,742 will be moved into the Smithville transport. So the net savings will be $754 per month.
But I'm showing on this contract, it's going from 1742 to 2590.
It's a different thing that we're purchasing. You're looking at buying bandwidth right there.
Right.
Now we're purchasing transport. So that contract actually goes away.
So this contract is not going to go, this contract will go away then?
Correct. It will be absolved into our transport.
So we're not going to sign this contract?
I'm sorry.
So this contract, this is a renewing contract, my understanding, is this correct?
No, that's the contract so that we have capacity to get to Indianapolis. That is replacing the current contract with Smithville that we're buying bandwidth from. It's the same company, but we're buying a different product. They're allowing us to take our contract that we have purchasing bandwidth, allow that to go away in order to get this contract, for transport.
Okay, so basically, we're not going to sign this contract, because it's $25.90 per month, and it was generated on May the 25th, 2021.
We have to have that contract in order to buy the cheap bandwidth.
Okay, so we're going to get a $25.90,
Correct.
and then we're going to get this other one from Hurricane.
For $1,300, correct.
Right, but the 1742, that's not another one, is it?
That's the one that goes away, as well as the $2,902 goes away.
Okay, so basically, what we're going to be losing then is 46.44, okay? And this is going to be about the same way.
$38.90
Right.
is what we'll be paying.
Okay, so basically the monthly expense is going to go down. We have some non-recurring charges that are quite a little bit, another 1,500 there, so.
The savings per month will be $754, and that will enable us to offer gigabit service.
Okay,
And right now, we're only offering the 500 meg. When we open these other areas up, we're gonna have to either buy bandwidth at the expensive rates we're buying now,
sure.
but this is what we need to do as far as being able, if we're gonna get into this, be able to service at 1 gigabit levels.
Okay, Tom, do you totally understand all that, buddy?
I don't totally understand it, but I think I got the basics of it. So we're going up to 1 gigabyte from 500 megabytes, correct?
That's correct. And this contract will do that. In essence, it's about the same money. We're going to realize some savings, but it's basically
Okay.
going to, from what I'm seeing here, Tom, and that's what I'm understanding from Bink, is that these two contracts are going away. 2902, 1742. We're putting in place a 2590 and a 1300.
Okay, all right, so the net savings. Now, does this impact the cost to the, rent, what am I trying to say? The user, the one that is getting this service from us?
It should not affect them negatively at all, no. It'll do nothing but help them.
So
with the extra.
they're getting a higher speed, 1 gigabyte rather than 500,
Correct,
for no extra charge.
correct.
Okay.
So
What a deal.
do we have a motion? We have a motion then to go forward to these contracts?
I'll make a
I will
motion.
make that motion.
Okay, Karen makes the motion, Tom, you second?
I second the motion.
Tom seconds, any questions, comments? Okay, with everything we've heard,
Contingent on Carrie, or
this is all,
Josh's
yes,
review.
this is contingent upon Josh's review. So,
Correct.
okay, so, all in favor say aye?
Aye.
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 Okay, unanimous, thank you. Okay, Bing, thank you so very much. That was as clear as mud, I'm sorry. I was thinking there were 3 or 4 contracts involved in all of this.
There's 4 contracts, 2 go away, 2 come back.
Two come back.
So
It
you're
sounds
not thinking wrong with
Very
that.
good. Thank you so very much. Next, we have Miss Leslie Bixler.
The only thing I had for you guys today were some sewer adjustments. There's 2 there for you to sign, and then a stack of pool adjustments, Mayor.
Okay.
With a cover letter, so if you'll just put your signature on those for me, that'll do me for tonight.
Anything else?
Hanging in there.
Is that a girl? We're so proud of you. Thank you so very much.
No problem.
Next, we have Chief Zellers with us this evening.
At the last Board of Works meeting, I let the board know that I was in the hiring process. I'd interviewed 2 and I had 2 more to interview. And at today's meeting, I would give you the name of who I'd like to hire, and I'm to that point. It's Cody Newsom. He's 24 years of age, graduated from Scottsburg High School. Lives in the Scottsburg area, and I don't believe it's the city limits. Cooley Lane, I don't believe that's city limits.
Where?
I think it's where Roddy used to live out there,
What is it?
off of Cooley, C-O-L-E-Y.
Um,
Anyway, it's close, County. He's currently is a Austin police officer. He's been to the academy. Everything, he did very well on all aspects of the interview. He did good in his interview process. He's got, number one, he's got the academy, which is very helpful to the city. Doing a background, his references and talking to his employer, he does a great job at Austin. And I'd like the board to allow me to hire him effective July 11th.
Okay, effective July 11th, okay? Tom, I can't go on you, Tom, because I can't see you here. So do you have any questions at all?
No, I do not. Thank you for asking.
And I also want to add, we would all like to be with you, Tom, so.
Yeah, I would love to have you here.
Absolutely, absolutely. So, Karen, do you have any questions about
No.
this? Okay. We'll accept a motion to go forward with this hire.
I make a motion to go forward with the hire.
Karen Grisham makes a motion. Is there a second?
I will second the motion.
Questions, comments, concerns? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
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 That's unanimous, thank you. Chief Zelders, thank you so very much. We are so proud of our Scott.
I refer to Jessica, she has a question, I'm sorry.
We also need to get approval for their cell phone stipend.
I couldn't hear what she was saying.
Is that not included in this one?
No, you gotta do it, you gotta mention it as well.
Normally we
Would that be a
forget.
prorate?
Normally we
Since-
forget like I do.
Yeah, would you want that prorated since you won't be working all month?
Sure.
So Tom, we have a motion to give a cell phone stipend that's prorated for this officer as well. You make that motion?
I will.
Thank you. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Karen seconds. Questions, comments? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
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 Thank you.
Aye.
Unanimous. Thank you. We want to thank the Scottsburg PD, how you have an officer on every street of every day. Thank you so very much. And you guys are just doing a fantastic job of seeing your cars, questioning people, pulling people over and questioning them. So thank you so very much, Chief.
Thank you, sir.
For the protection of our citizens. Thank you. For now, we have from our clerk treasurer.
I would just request a motion to approve the claims as presented.
I'll make a motion to approve the claims as presented.
Karen Grisham makes that motion. Is there a second?
I will second the motion.
Tom seconds. Questions, comments, concerns?
No.
Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
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 Unanimous. Thank you very much. Now for new business. I think we have anything else, do we? I've got some announcements here. No new business. Okay, so the announcements are, we've got a brownfield update, just to let everybody know. The brownfield is where the Scott manufacturing plant was at, and this has been an ongoing remediation, soil contamination, that after 154 years, 75 days, you know, I'm just
3
kidding.
hours, 2 minutes.
It feels like that long, folks, but it's probably been a 15, 20 year maybe.
About 25.
25,
20
sorry.
or 25.
I was exaggerating now, I'm too short, so. But it has been about a 20, 25 year process, but it is at a conclusion. And it is, the wells, everything is good. The wells have been closed. We're having the report go to the IDEM director, who will sign off that, who will in turn take it to the governor, and he will sign off of it. And then guess where it's going to? Scottsburg Cemetery, yes. So if you want to stay in Scottsburg, well, we're about out of room, but we're going to have room for now the next 20 years now. So hallelujah. Next thing up is the PC software contract we talked about a little bit. We are looking, folks, for new software to bring us up into the modern age so that you can pay your bill while you're laying on the beach in Panama City by your phone. You can put on your charger on that. You want to expand on this, Leslie, or better than I am?
We're looking for a solution that offers prepay billing, so obviously that'll help our rental population and customers. Something that you can also view your usage, get online, see how much you're using on a daily basis, electric, water, and sewer. Something where you can create a portal online and pay your bills, save your information, make payments easier, do some ACH, e-checks. Credit card payments a little bit easier and more smooth and flawless. So we're exploring all of our options there.
Okay, that sounds great. So folks, we're going to make it here of the 21st century in Scottsburg, Indiana. It's going to be great. We also have our IDEM approval for our recycle center that's going in there. We also have, we can add a second compactor as well. Also, a note, we are building a new wastewater treatment plant and repurposing the old one as well. So everything in the old plant is going to be used, folks, as well as building a new plant that is going to be 2,750,000 gallons per day with a 7 million gallon rain event. And the big concrete pour is July the 10th, and it begins at 1 a.m. So if you live on the streets of 3rd Street, North 3rd Street, if you live where we're going to be coming down Chief, what's that road since you?
Montgomery is the road where they'll come down.
Yeah,
down
Montgomery,
Main.
yeah, but you know, we're gonna come in from the north, down Main Street. And so if you live there by North Main to Montgomery, the first street when you come into town from North Main, those trucks are gonna be rolling at 1 a.m. and it will go all the way until, I think you said 10,
About 10 p.m.
10 p.m. And there's gonna be 40 trucks going. So we're pouring a lot of concrete. So with that, you may hear some backup noise, and you know, there's going to be just the noise of those tumblers going around. You shouldn't hear horns, but it is 1 o'clock in the morning. We just want you to know that we're going to be sending brochures out for you. If you live in that area, you will get that brochure to give you awareness. So if you want to go see Grandma, that might be a good time to go, if you're a light sleeper. And, you know, so, but anyway, great news. If you want to see it, we're going to have a concrete, this wastewater treatment plant is just excellent and going all right, you know, going well. So we're very proud to be able to have this going on. So, any other questions, comments, concerns? What did you say, Tom?
What unit are they pouring that day? What are they pouring?
Concrete.
I know, but what is gonna be the end result?
I'll pull your leg, Tom. I'm sorry, buddy. They're pouring all 3 reactors at the same time. The pit has been dug, and this is just the base, Tom. That's not the walls. This is just the base. And what we've had happen here, we've dug down and to the bottom of this. We have put in geo-piers. So the geo-piers will be able to uphold that. We had one area that we made what do they call it, a mud? What was that? A mud mat. That's exactly right. And it was about a 30 by 50 mud mat where we poured 24 yards of concrete because it was kind of I guess a real soupy area that we just could not get enough rock in to support that. So we poured a mud mat there. So that met all of Patriot Engineering's requirements. So we began all the rebar. That rebar has basically been put in. We're putting it in now for that base. So on July the 10th.
This is the fire test then. It goes on top of the geo-piers.
This is the
foundation.
This is the foundation that goes on top of those geo-piers. That's exactly correct.
Okay.
So it's good. It's going to be a big pour that night. Go ahead. I'm sorry, I'm interrupting you. Go ahead, buddy.
How thick is it? How thick is the mat?
How thick is the mat?
Thick. I'm not sure on that one, buddy. I'm not sure, Tom.
I'm just curious about.
I may be wrong, but I was thinking 6 feet. Am I incorrect on that? I don't want to say, Tom, because we just had this meeting. We had this engineering meeting. I mean, just the rebar alone is, I think, is about 3 to 4 layers.
I'm sure, yeah.
Yeah, and it's
I'm sure, yeah.
and it's very heavy. I mean, each load is.
I was just curious. I was just curious. I mean, that's my line of work, so.
Yeah.
I was just curious what it was.
Oh, you would love this here, buddy. So, you'll be able to see
I won't be
it.
home in time to watch them.
You will or will not?
Time to watch them. I will not. I won't get back to the 11.
Oh, wow. Wow. Well, it'll all be done when you get home, buddy. Miss Marty has a question.
Yes, I have one question. Can you advise how many geo-piers have to be poured?
You know, they put those in throughout that entire bed. The number, I don't think I know, but I can get that for you.
If you would mind.
I'll get the number of the geo-piers tomorrow, as well as the thickness of the pad.
Okay.
Okay?
That'd be great.
Yeah. So we have a good, solid foundation there. So let Jess, let's make a note.
I've got it now.
Yeah. Well, we're done, Tom, and I'll try to send you a text with that so I can answer that question for you as well.
Super, that'd be great. I appreciate that.
Okay. Anything else for us tonight?
No.
Okay. Tom, Do you have a motion to adjourn here, buddy?
I'd just like to say aloha.
Rubbing in, rubbing in.
Aloha, Tom. We hope you have a great time and be safe, buddy. Thank you for joining us this evening. Thank you. We're adjourned.